Hello and welcome to a Pro Football Hall of Fame archive exclusive where we honor the heroes of the game, preserve its history, promote its values, and celebrate excellence everywhere. I'm Jameer Howerton alongside Jason Retner. And Jason, today we're honored to have one of our, I want to say, newest class members, 2016 Gold Jacket, Orlando Pace, on the phone. Orlando, thank you for taking time out.
Thanks for having me.
Great. Orlando, you know what? Let's jump right into it. Normally, we like to talk about the values of the game, but that's obvious for you, my man. But let's go back to this time last year and take us back to when you were named a finalist and you were going through the whole process. What was that like for you, man?
Well, it was nerve-wracking a little bit. The year before, being it was my second time up, not knowing what to expect. You kind of read the articles and listen to some media guys, and everybody's saying, "Hey, you're going to be a shoo-in." So you try to really not listen to some of the media takes, because the year prior, I didn't have an opportunity to make it. So just kind of enjoy the process. I was fortunate enough to go in the finalist group with one of my teammates, Kurt Warner. So we constantly communicated back and forth and sending each other well wishes, and we went through that process together. So it made it fun. It was a little nerve wracking, but to be mentioned, as a finalist is an honor in itself. So I was excited about that.
Take us inside the room last year on the eve of the Super Bowl. You said you've listened to the media, but that day, did you shut things down and did you just spend time with your family waiting for the announcement?
Yeah, you know what? It was actually a really good time. I had an appearance for about 3 hours prior to having to be in the hotel room. So, with that being said, me and my wife, we went out to a winery where I had an appearance. So I'm out there just trying to take my mind off of, the Hall of Fame at the time and being nervous and those kind of things. So, just kind of out there, enjoying Napa and all the things that comes along with it. So that was a perfect storm for me, because I could get away from the hotel a little bit and think of something outside of, am I a Hall of Famer at the time or not?
Alcohol definitely kills the nerves, that's for sure. Good call on that.
And a little winery, Jason. A little wine doesn't hurt. Some little cheese and crackers.
Right.
So some wine.
I'm telling you.
Wine and dine.
You up there. But you know what, Orlando? You finally got the knock. What was that like to hear the big fella, the president of the Pro Football Hall of Fame, the gentle giant himself, Mr. Dave Baker, just utter those words to you?
Oh man, it was an awesome feeling. It was just to see his face at the door and tell you that, hey, you're a member of the Pro Football Hall of Fame. You just immediately begin to think back of everybody that helped you along your way, your journey, friends, teammates, coaches, everybody, and to finally be at this moment to where you're a Hall of Famer. It's words really can't describe what I was feeling at that time, but it was a mix of a lot of different emotions, but mostly joy.
We see the highlight reel of the knock, and it's like everybody is kind of short, but like you were like, you're eye to eye to Dave Baker there. You know what I mean? Because normally everybody has to like hunch, like he has to hunch over. But it was like you mano a mano, like what's up, my man?
Yeah. Well, I didn't look up to Dave. We're eye to eye, and when he said that, man, it was it was so refreshing, man, just to hear him say it, and you kind of, like I said, I'm still at a loss for words, but even then it's like, wow, what do I say? But you happy because cameras are there watching, and you're like, man, they're catching that raw emotion of actually being told that you're in the Hall of Fame.
Let's fast forward to your enshrinement. You're obviously a family man. What was it like to have your son present you? Why was your son such a big part of your ceremony?
Well, the reason I chose Justin, who was my oldest son, by the way, because I wanted him to really take that experience in and really enjoy that experience. I could have named a couple coaches that helped me along my way, but my son, to be there, there's something that he could tell his kids one day that he was the presenter while his dad, their grandfather at the time, will be in the Hall of Fame. So to have my family there, be a part of that moment, experience all the things that we can had given us. And for him to be there is something that he'll never forget, and it's something I'll definitely never forget as well.
And then a couple of weeks later, your hometown of Sandusky, man, they rolled out the red carpet. What was that process like? I mean, you had a parade, a park named after you. Let's get it right, Jason. Orlando Pace Drive. I mean,
I'm telling you.
That's huge.
It is. It's funny, man, because you don't even dream of those things happening, and once you get to the Hall of Fame, it's one of those perks, man. They just happen to take down the president name on the street too. So to put my name up, and every time I go home, I always have to drive by to make sure and pinch myself to make sure that's real. But the city of Sandusky, they did a fabulous job of really honoring me and everything that I've meant to that community and that city. And they rolled out the red carpet, like you said, and these long-lasting legacy moments that happen, and having a street named after you, having a park named after you, those are things that like I said, you couldn't dream of, but it happened, and I'm fortunate for it.
And along those lines, how much has life changed since you have Pro Football Hall of Famer next to your name?
Oh, it's great. Everywhere you go, people always remember it, and they'll say, "Hey," if I hear people whisper sometimes, "Hey, that's Orlando Pace. He's in the Hall of Fame," or "He's a Hall of Famer." And people, what's amazing is even you go places and you see other pro players, and they look at you now because like I did when I played, like, wow, that guy's a Hall of Famer, and that's what some of the current players that's in the NFL now. When they look at you now, they say, wow, that's a Hall of Famer. And everybody, there's a respect thing. The respect goes through the roof because, that gold jacket really means something amongst the NFL alumni, amongst people everywhere, actually.
We're a little less than 2 weeks away from the Super Bowl, which means we're going to have our newest class announced. And we have a few linemen that have made it as finalists. We have Tony Boselli, Alan Faneca, Joe Jacoby, and Kevin Waugh. Out of all those guys, do any of them, do you think, stand out to you that have a chance to make the class in 2017?
Well, all those guys are, first of all, let me say, all those guys are deserving of all of those accolades, and they are deserving to be a Hall of Famer. Let me just say this, being an offensive tackle, I was so excited to see Tony Boselli in that mix of finalists. And I say that because being a young tackle who we played around at the same era, he was the standard. I mean, everybody wanted to, Tony, he was a great player at USC. When he played, everybody wanted to, we tuned in to watch Tony play. So, and then I know his career was cut short by injuries, but he was one of those guys that I've always looked at and really looked at his game. And, we're all at that same level. He's a little older than me, but still, to watch him play was great. And then Kevin Mawai, all these guys I played with in Pro Bowls, they're all deserving. Faneca and a lot of those guys, it's hard to say which one will get in this year. I'm just excited. Hopefully one or two of those guys get in, and we can welcome them to the family.
Also on the finalist list, Orlando, you look at Kurt Warner and Isaac Bruce, two of your former teammates that played on the greatest show of turf. What are your thoughts about these two guys potentially making it to the class of 2017?
Yeah, Kurt's been a finalist with me since we started off a couple years ago. And there's no other quarterbacks on the ballot, so I'm rooting for Kurt really hard. Hopefully this year is his year. But I was really excited for Isaac Bruce because one of those things of Isaac and Torrey, who are both semifinalists, and for Isaac to break out and become a finalist, at least somebody, they're talking about him in that room. I wish they both could get in. I'm rooting for them both to get in. But I know it's tough for teammates to both get in at the same time. But as long as Isaac's in that finalist, and those reporters are talking about his career, and you look at his numbers and what he's done in the NFL, he'll definitely be a Hall of Famer, if not this year, in the years to come.
And what advice do you have for them going through this process? You've obviously been through everything. Have you talked to them yet? If not, what do you have for them?
My thing is just get away. If you're a finalist and you have an opportunity to do some things prior to the time that you have to be in your hotel room, get away, keep your mind off of it, and just try to enjoy the weekend and all the things that it brings. There's a number of events that these finalists will go to. Just try to keep your mind off it. There's really nothing you could do at that point because it is up to the voters to make that decision. Yeah, I think just get away and try to clear your mind, but really enjoy the weekend.
Don't worry, we'll try to find a winery or brewery for him. So.
There you go. That sounds like a plan.
Now, before we let you go, we got to let you go get your early predictions, but not so much predictions, just your thought of this year's Super Bowl 51. Who do you like? How do you think things are going to match up? Just your overall take.
Well, I think hopefully, first of all, being a retired player and I'll be at the game, hopefully it's a great game. But when you look at what Matt Ryan and has done and how many weapons they have offensively, it'll be a tough task for them to beat the Patriots because Bill Belichick has a great way of taking away their best weapon. So it'll see. I'm rooting for. I want to see the Falcons win.
Okay.
And I know the Patriots have been there a number of times, but they're playing such good football, and Bill Belichick and Tom Brady and that whole crew, they've done it before. They have the experience. But if Matty Ice is what we call him, if he plays as nearly as good as he did yesterday, I think they have a great chance of beating the Patriots.
Now, just to talk a little offensive lineman talk, when you look at the way the Patriots offensive line played against the Steelers last night, personally, I was pretty impressed because you look at the week before, the way those horses were coming at those guys against the Houston Texans, I thought that was the blueprint. You know, everybody knows that you cannot allow Brady to stand there on his mark. You got to make him uncomfortable. But that offensive line really stood up to that Pittsburgh Steelers front seven.
You know what it did, and I'm telling you, they did a great job. And I think if you look at the week before when they played the Texans, if you put pressure on Tom Brady up the middle and make him uncomfortable, he'll make some different throws, or he won't be as efficient as he was. But when you watch the game against the Steelers last night, he had time in the pocket. He could eat a sandwich. He could do a bunch of things.
He was making donuts, man. He was making donuts, man. I counted real talk, 8.5 seconds. I was like, whoa. And he found Hogan in the back of the end zone. I was like, wow.
Right. And the thing about the Patriots, when you look at that game, is they just have guys that they plug and play. Hogan had a big game yesterday. Edelman had a big game. And, you know, it all starts with that offensive line. They can protect them. Then you can't – there's not a cornerback alive that can cover for 8.5 seconds. So or somebody will be open. So I think that's the key for the Falcons. If they can put pressure on them, move them off that spot, I think they'll have a good chance at winning.
But OP, what kills me is, man, when you look at the names, and no disrespect, because these guys, they come to work every day, they bring their lunch pail. But seriously, when I think of back in the day when you was rocking out, it was Kurt Warner, Isaac Bruce, Marshall Faulk, Orlando Pace, you know, Terry Holtz. You had these names. You look at like Tom Brady and Hogan, and you know what I mean? Like, who are these? Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, who are they? And it's no fam. I'm a fan of the sport, but I'm like, yo, how does he do it? And you know, how does he do it? How does Belichick and Tom Brady do it?
You know what? They just have a system. I mean, it's a plug-and-play system. They'll take just a receiver, a journeyman receiver, and plug them in that system, and they'll make it work. Whatever they just have a way of doing it. Even when Tom Brady was out for those 4 games earlier this year, they plugged in their third-string quarterback, and they were still winning games.
Yeah. There's no stopping that.
Yeah.
Yeah,
it's just the way they structure their organization, their team. Their players buy into their system, and they've been having success for a number of years now.
Well, Orlando, we took up so much of your time. We want to thank you so much for joining us here on this Pro Football Hall of Fame Archive exclusive. If there's anything that you need from us, we're always here for you, my man. Thank you very much for your time.
I appreciate it. You guys have a great day.